And well, before starting with my presentation, I would like to give thanks to FIUGA for the invitation to take part of Galician Innovation Days by presenting this project, the SAFEWAY project, which is being coordinated by the University of Vigo, by the Applied Geotechnologies Research Group. Well, our project SAFEWAY is an action that has been funded by the previous framework program, the Horizon 2020, and particularly within the transport program, okay, specifically in the topic of resilience to extreme events. In this slide, you can see some figures about the project. Basically, this action is being developed or is taken by a consortium of 14 partners from 8 countries around Europe, with a total duration of 3.5 years and with an overall budget over 4.5 million. Okay. The overall or the aim of our project consists of the design, validation, and implementation of holistic methods, and also the development of new tools and services that at the end contribute to improve resilience of transportation networks by tackling the 3 main phases of crisis management, okay? The 3 main phases of resilience, okay? I will be supported, in fact, by this graph, which is basically a representation of the normalized benefit of a transportation system or any other system, in which we can see the effect of having a disruptive event, okay, affecting, of course, this benefit. Okay, so within this, or being supported by this graph, we can see how the different solutions of SAFEWAY are contributing to the different or the various steps or phases of resilience, as I mentioned before. And for example, if we start with the in terms of preparation, SAFEWAY is recruiting different databases that already exist in Europe about the most frequent natural hazards, and this information is being combined also with new monitoring tools or services that are based on remote sensing technologies. Okay, these remote sensing technologies might be satellite systems, okay, but also terrestrial mobile mapping systems that contribute to have a detailed diagnosis of infrastructure conditions. In terms of mitigation, and based on the information that is being recruited by the previous sources of information, SAFEWAY is also developing, or has already developed, a method to quantify the impact of damage in the event of an external threat happens. Okay, so this allowed us to optimize or to better decide which are the mitigation actions to be taken into account. In terms of also mitigation, but also considering or linked to the response when an external threat happens, SAFEWAY is also using new data sources coming from connected vehicles technologies, but also social media in such a way these or those types of infrastructures that already exist and are in our networks can provide data for monitoring the performance of the infrastructure, but also are a means to communicate optimally with the final users, okay, in order to recommend, for example, optimal routes, okay. And in a different dimension, SAFEWAY is also developing some research in terms of new construction bases, which is more related to long-term effects of resilience in such a way by using the knowledge that has been developed in the previous phases of the project to develop new construction systems, or also propose adaptation needs of the existing infrastructure in order to better resist when an external threat happens, okay? Also, it's important to mention that SAFEWAY is developing basic research in terms of new materials, smart materials, and also a new sensing systems as those based on fiber optics. Well, all those sources of information are actually integrated into a platform, an IT platform, which is at the end a GIS-based infrastructure management system, okay? Which is the, let's say, the key to digest all the different sources of information by having also a core system, which is a resilience-based decision support system, which also integrates predictive models, and which is the platform that allowed to optimize the communication with the, on one hand, the users of the infrastructure, but also with the managers or operators of the infrastructure, okay? Just to mention that SAFEWAY is a research and innovation action, so that there were different research activities, as I mentioned before, but also several innovative solutions are close to the market. And in fact, some of them are already in the market, okay? These are basically related to new apps and services that related to connected vehicles, but also about the condition monitoring of infrastructures by using satellite systems, okay, or by the some components of the IT platform, the SAFEWAY platform, that integrates the monitoring, all the other monitoring data. Okay, so I will very quickly expose some of the already achieved results, okay, going further in detail. And I will start with some research that has been done in terms of quantitative risk assessment at global scale. And in that sense, you can see in the slide some maps of Europe. Some of them are related to the exposure of the European network to different natural hazards, okay? This is important to mention that we are focusing both in railway system and also in roads, okay? And with the information obtained about vulnerability of our infrastructures and combined with the databases of the networks that the operators manage or the infrastructure managers use, it was possible to develop those hotspots of the network where special care is to be taken, okay? The risk assessment methodologies were not only developed at global scale, but also at asset level, okay? By focusing on critical assets where the different methodologies have been developed in order to account, for example, to identify vulnerable elements in terms of structural and functional vulnerability. Also, different frameworks were developed in order to assess the impact of damage in different critical assets and at different dimensions, okay? Technical, human, economic, and environmental. And also relevant research has been done in terms of model updating of existing infrastructures, okay? This is especially in terms of the reassessment of reliability of infrastructures, considering all the new hazards that they have to face in the forthcoming decades, and also the new monitoring technologies available, okay? In terms of monitoring, as I mentioned before, there are some innovative aspects considering basically remote sensing technologies, both satellite ones based on radar interferometry in order to assess or to detect areas with significant subsidence, for which later we can perform a more detailed inspection by using mobile mapping systems, okay? In that sense, it's important to mention here that with those technologies, different tools have been developed in order to fully automatically perform the condition assessment, okay, detecting damages and different performance indicators. But also it's important to mention here that in parallel, SAFEWAY has been done some progress in terms of digitalization, okay? And particularly, different methods have been developed in order to convert that source data automatically into BIM models that can be used later for further applications as the emerging digital twins. This has been done always following open standards, okay? And one of the latest sources of data is related to crowdsourcing and social media, in which, well, the technologies or infrastructure focus on automated vehicles, and social media are used as optimal channels of communication with end users. You can see in the slide some screenshot of the SAFEWAY IT platform, where the different sources of information mentioned can be visualized synchronously. Okay. And finally, the latest component of SAFEWAY refer to research about long-time resilience, okay? And this includes both reconsideration of emergency management, considering all the solutions developed, and also the research done in terms of new construction systems, okay? By proposing adaptation needs for existing infrastructures, and also new construction systems, considering smart materials and new embedded monitoring systems. Okay. So finally, I just want to show you where are the pilots, where the project is being demonstrated at this moment, as we are in the latest semester of the project. These are operational environments connected to the 10T network, okay, in which the different solutions are using for different scenarios, considering flooding and wildfires. To finish my presentation, I just want to take the opportunity to invite all the audience to the SAFEWAY final workshop that will take place in Vigo next February. This will be an open event, so this is free of charge. And in this event, we will not only show the specific results of SAFEWAY, but our idea is to have special sessions to explore new funding opportunities to use SAFEWAY solutions. Okay, so follow us in our social media, as we will be promoting or starting showing the program of the event in the forthcoming weeks. Okay. So that's all from my side. Thank you all for your attention. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me through the platform for specific discussions, or just write me to my email address, and I will be very happy to solve any questions or discuss any topic that might be of interest. So thank you very much.